Do you think you've heard all the most terrifying stories from the Bible? Then get ready. There are beings so powerful and enigmatic that they make any demonic legend seem like child's play. Colossal creatures, hidden forces, and entities that defy logic, and some of them may be closer than you imagine. Who are the 24 elders that surround God's throne? What are Ezekiel's wheels, filled with eyes and moving in an impossible manner? And Leviathan, the indestructible sea beast that, according to Scripture, can breathe fire? If you think you've seen it all, think again. What you're about to discover might forever change your perception of the Bible and the invisible world around us. Stay until the end and prepare for the unexpected. Are you ready to uncover one of the Bible's most hidden secrets? Imagine standing before the throne of God. Lightning cuts through the sky, thunder roars like echoes of eternity, and there they are, 24 elders, seated on golden thrones, shrouded in a mystery that spans the ages. But who are these beings who occupy such a privileged place near the Creator? They are not angels. Nor are they mere spectators. Their role in humanity's grand finale is far greater than you might imagine, and almost no one talks about it. The elders wear white robes, a symbol of purity and redemption. Their golden crowns shine like the glory of celestial kings. But the question no one can answer with certainty is, what exactly do they do there? Some believe they represent the faithful who have been saved throughout the ages, while others say they are a celestial order that governs alongside God. If that is true, then heaven's structure is far more complex and unsettling than we've been told. But here's the chilling detail: they do not hold swords or scepters, but bowls full of incense. And do you know what that means? They hold in their hands the prayers of humanity. Every whispered word, every silent plea could be observed by these mysterious beings. Do they intercede, judge, or merely witness? And what if your prayers have already passed through their hands without you knowing? Now, here's the part that makes everything even more enigmatic: they cast their crowns at God's feet. A gesture of absolute submission, as if acknowledging that even their authority comes from the Creator. But what led them to this place of honor? Were they chosen before the creation of the world? Or did they endure trials that no one else could withstand? And why 24? A strange number for such a powerful council. Some say they are the 12 patriarchs of Israel's tribes and the 12 apostles, united in eternity. But there are even darker theories. What if these elders represent a select group of souls who have reached a spiritual level not yet revealed to the world? Perhaps we are looking at a type of celestial aristocracy, a caste of beings who have governed since the universe's inception. Could humanity's destiny already be in their hands? And don't think they are there just to decorate the apocalypse. They are involved in cataclysmic events, witnessing the opening of the seals that unleash judgments upon the earth. If there is a council that observes and influences humanity's fate, it is there, around the throne. But what is the true extent of their power? How much do they interfere with the course of history? Now, if you think this is already surreal, wait until you hear what comes next. Ezekiel saw something even more terrifying: wheels within wheels, covered in eyes, moving in an impossible way. This defies logic, physics, and even common spiritual understanding. What exactly are these creatures? And could there be connections between the 24 elders and these supernatural entities? Imagine witnessing something so incomprehensible that it defies all laws of reality. Ezekiel, an ancient prophet, saw something that left him speechless: wheels within wheels, covered in eyes, moving in an impossible way. A terrifying vision, an enigma that still fascinates scholars and theorists today. But what were these mysterious creatures? Just a divine metaphor, or something that truly exists? The scariest part is that these wheels did not move by themselves. They followed the cherubim, beings with equally bizarre appearances, multiple faces, and wings. And the most disturbing detail? The eyes. Thousands of eyes covering every inch of these wheels, watching everything, penetrating the soul of anyone who dared to look at them. Were these entities messengers of God's omniscience or something far more complex? Some scholars believe that the description of these wheels symbolizes divine presence in motion, but what if there is more to it? There are theories associating this vision with encounters with extraterrestrial beings or unknown dimensions. If something so impossible to explain appeared to Ezekiel, could other prophets have witnessed similar mysteries, but were prevented from revealing them? The Bible does not describe only this vision but hints that these beings participate in grand and even terrifying events. They appear when something significant is about to happen, as if they are witnesses and agents of destiny itself. But why was this vision given to Ezekiel? Was he ready to understand the message, or was he too terrified to decipher it all? Another curious point is that these wheels moved without needing to turn. Can you imagine something like that? Circular objects moving in any direction without even changing position. This description defies our logic, but what if it describes something beyond our technological comprehension? Something we might only understand in the future. It is no coincidence that this account has been one of the most debated in the Bible. The appearance of these wheels represents a type of celestial intelligence that seems to operate under entirely different rules than those we know. Could this be evidence that the universe hides mechanisms we are not yet capable of perceiving? Now, if you found this disturbing, wait until you learn about another entity that appears in the Bible. A creature of unparalleled power, a beast so colossal that even giants would fear its presence. Behemoth is about to be revealed, and what we know about it may change everything you believe. Now, imagine a creature so gigantic, so powerful, that nothing can stop it. Hidden in the pages of the book of Job lies one of the most mysterious and terrifying entities in the entire Bible, Behemoth. It is described as the supreme beast, a land monster with muscles of steel, bones like iron bars, and a power that defies any other creature ever seen. But what was this beast? An extinct animal, a supernatural being, or something even more terrifying? Behemoth is described as unbeatable. Neither swords, nor spears, nor arrows can harm it. Its body is so massive that even rivers tremble at its presence. Around you. It moves slowly, but when it advances, nothing can stand in its way. And what if this creature existed today? What would it be like to face something like that head-on? Could humanity have already crossed paths with something similar without realizing it? The most common theory is that Behemoth was a hippopotamus or an elephant. But think carefully, since when does a hippopotamus have metal bones and bronze muscles? This description goes beyond any animal we know. What if this creature was a being that disappeared before our era, something that only the ancients had the misfortune of seeing? Now, notice this detail: Behemoth was created on the same day as humans. This means it did not come before mankind but alongside them. Could this beast have been a creature that roamed among ancient peoples, terrorizing entire civilizations? There are reports of dragons and colossal beasts in various cultures, but what if they were all talking about the same being? The Bible makes it clear that only God can face it. In other words, it sits at the absolute top of the food chain, above even fearsome predators like lions and crocodiles. But why would God mention this creature to Job? Could it be a metaphor for the uncontrollable chaos of the world, or a warning about something that truly existed? The details are so precise that they make us wonder, could this creature be related to some other terrifying biblical being? Could Behemoth be one of the forgotten giants of the Old Testament? Or perhaps it has some connection to the dreaded Leviathan, a sea beast of devastating power that terrorized the oceans. What if ancient texts are more literal than we imagine? What if Behemoth truly existed and the Bible recorded its existence before it vanished from the face of the earth? Are there hidden secrets about this beast that have never been revealed? But now, hold on, because if Behemoth already seems unbeatable, what can be said about Leviathan, a beast so colossal that even fire appears to come from its mouth? Now imagine something even more terrifying than Behemoth. A colossal creature, a monster of the ocean so fierce that no army could stop it. Its name: Leviathan. It is described in the Bible as a gigantic serpent, an unbeatable aquatic beast, whose body is protected by impenetrable scales and whose breath spews fire. But what was this creature really? An extinct animal? A demonic entity? Or something beyond human comprehension? The biblical description of Leviathan defies imagination. Its scales are so resilient that neither spears, swords, nor arrows can harm it. Its body glides through the seas like a living shadow, spreading fear wherever it goes. And the most frightening part? It doesn't just dominate the oceans, it challenges the heavens themselves. God mentions it in the book of Job as a beast so powerful that only he could defeat it. Now think about it, if Behemoth was already an impressive monster, what can be said about Leviathan, which literally breathes fire? This is a detail that has intrigued scholars for centuries. Could this be a metaphor for chaos and uncontrollable power? Or did such a creature truly exist in the ancient seas? What if the legend of Leviathan is not just a myth? Many ancient texts speak of giant sea serpents that terrorized sailors. Could this creature be an ancestor of dragon myths? Or perhaps a spiritual entity symbolizing evil and destruction? The fact is, in the Bible, Leviathan is a being that only God can subdue. But what would happen if this creature still existed today? Can you imagine something like that emerging from the depths? Many believe that descriptions of Leviathan might be linked to sightings of unknown creatures in modern seas. Reports of sea monsters, colossal shapes rising from the waters. What if the Bible was warning us about something that never completely disappeared? And more, the Bible makes a point of highlighting Leviathan as a symbol of chaos, fury, and uncontrollable power. Was this monster merely a physical creature, or something much deeper, representing forces that govern the universe? If it represents primordial chaos, does that mean its spirit is still present in the world? Now, if you thought Leviathan was terrifying, wait until you learn about the cherubim, celestial entities that guard divine secrets and possess appearances that defy all human logic. What are these creatures, and what is their true role in the heavenly realm? If you think angels are delicate and serene beings, it's because you haven't yet learned about the cherubim. These biblical entities are described as divine guardians, but their appearance goes far beyond what we imagine. Forget soft wings and angelic faces. Cherubim are colossal beings, with multiple faces, flaming wings, and a gaze that pierces the soul. The first records of these creatures appear in Genesis, right after Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden. God placed cherubim with flaming swords to guard the tree of life. But why such protection? What would happen if someone managed to pass them? What lies behind this role as absolute guardians? Now, try to visualize this scene. Beings with 4 faces, human, lion, ox, and eagle, covered in eyes and with wings that vibrate like the sound of an army marching. How could something like this be ignored? These creatures completely challenge any traditional notion of angels. Ezekiel's vision of the cherubim is one of the most disturbing in the entire Bible. They appear accompanied by wheels full of eyes that move in an impossible way. These wheels rotated in all directions without ever changing position. Were these descriptions symbolic, or are we facing a phenomenon that defies our understanding? And the most impressive part, the cherubim are not just messengers, they are part of the very structure of God's throne. Yes, according to the scriptures, they carry the divine throne and serve as a kind of heavenly chariot. If God chose these beings to be so close to him, what is the real power of these entities? Now, a detail that few notice, cherubim are present on the Ark of the Covenant, one of the most sacred objects of the Old Testament. This means these creatures not only protect spiritual realms but are also linked to crucial events in humanity's history. Are they merely guardians, or do they play a direct role in the fate of mankind? Another point that has intrigued theologians for centuries: why does the Bible describe the cherubim so differently from common angels? If angels usually appear as human-like figures of light, why do cherubim have such exotic forms? Could we be talking about completely different entities? Something that goes beyond what we imagine about celestial beings? But now, get ready, because if cherubim already seem like creatures from another world, the seraphim are even more enigmatic. These fiery beings. They live in the direct presence of God, possess 6 wings, and sing hymns that make the universe tremble. Who are they? And why is their role in heaven even more mysterious? If the cherubim are already enigmatic and powerful, the seraphim go even further. These blazing beings not only dwell in the direct presence of God, they are the very essence of divine fire. Few people know, but the seraphim are mentioned only once in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, and their description is absolutely breathtaking. Now, try to imagine celestial beings covered in fire, with 6 wings that surround them like a fiery storm. Their voices are so powerful that they make the foundations of the temple shake. When they speak, the universe listens. But what is the true purpose of these entities? Why do they live in such intense proximity to the Creator himself? The seraphim are not warriors or messengers, they are absolute worshippers. They remain around God's throne, endlessly repeating, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." But why this repetition? Is it a declaration of power, a way to maintain celestial order, or a mystery we have yet to comprehend? And here's a detail that many overlook: the fire of the seraphim does not destroy, it purifies. In the book of Isaiah, a seraphim touches the prophet's lips with a burning coal, burning away his impurity and making him worthy to speak on behalf of God. This fire is not ordinary, it is the very essence of holiness. But what does this mean for us? Could this divine fire still be active in the world, shaping those who are chosen? Another intriguing point: the seraphim cover their faces with 2 of their wings. If even these beings, who dwell with God, do not dare to look at him directly, what does that tell us about the grandeur of the Creator? Could any vision of God be overwhelming even for the most powerful celestial entities? But there is something even more unsettling. The name, seraphim, means, the burning ones, but what exactly do they burn? Their presence is so intense that merely mentioning them carries an incomprehensible spiritual weight. If they are beings of fire, what is their true role in the balance of the universe? And what if the seraphim are connected to the very concept of transformation? If their fire can purify, could their mission be to shape those with a divine calling? Are they merely worshippers, or true agents of spiritual change? If the seraphim are already fascinating, wait until you learn about Melchizedek, a figure so mysterious that many believe he may not have an earthly origin. Who was he? How could he be both a king and a priest without a known lineage? Among all the enigmatic figures in the Bible, none sparks more mystery than Melchizedek. He appears out of nowhere, without genealogy, without a past, without explanation, and vanishes just as mysteriously. A king and priest who met Abraham, blessed him, and then disappeared without a trace. But who was he really? A mere man, a divine incarnation, or something even deeper? The Bible states that Melchizedek was the king of Salem and a priest of the Most High God. But here's the strange detail: this happened before the tribe of Levi even existed, the lineage of priests. How could someone hold this role without belonging to the priestly lineage? Could he have been a celestial being, a manifestation of Christ before his incarnation? Now, consider this: when Abraham encountered Melchizedek, he offered him a tithe of everything he had. But why? No other priest or king had ever received such an honor before. What kind of authority did Melchizedek have for even the patriarch of faith to bow before him? The book of Hebrews deepens this mystery, stating that Melchizedek has no father, no mother, no genealogy, no beginning of days, nor end of life. That sounds like the description of an immortal being, doesn't it? Was Melchizedek an angel? A divine avatar? Or Christ himself appearing before his earthly birth? And here's an even more unsettling detail: the name Melchizedek means king of righteousness, and he ruled over Salem, which later became Jerusalem, the holy city. Was he some kind of spiritual ruler laying the foundation for what would come later? Or was he preparing the way for something much greater? Another often overlooked point, Melchizedek offered bread and wine to Abraham. Does that sound familiar? Centuries later, Jesus did the same at the Last Supper. Was this a glimpse of what was to come? A foreshadowing of the new covenant Christ would establish? Scholars have tried to explain his identity for centuries, but there is still no consensus. If he was just a man, why is his priesthood described as eternal? If he was an angel, why did he appear in such a human form? And if he was a divine apparition, what was his true purpose? But what would happen if we knew the truth about Melchizedek? If the Bible states that his priesthood had no beginning or end, does that mean he is still among us, working behind the scenes of God's plan? If Melchizedek is already an astonishing enigma, prepare for something even darker. The angel of death, the entity that brought terror to Egypt and executed divine judgment. Who was he? An ordinary angel, or something far more terrifying? If you think you've seen frightening stories in the Bible, brace yourself for one of the most terrifying figures of all, the angel of death. A relentless entity, sent directly by God to carry out one of Egypt's most devastating plagues. But who was this being? A fallen angel, a vengeful spirit, or the very manifestation of divine judgment? The biblical account transports us to the fateful night when the 10th plague struck Egypt. The firstborn of every household was taken, a sentence that no one could escape unless their door was marked with the blood of the Lamb. But what exactly was this being? Did it have a form? Was it visible? Or was it simply a wind of death that passed through and claimed the souls of the condemned? What's most intriguing is that, unlike other angels mentioned in the Bible, the angel of death does not have a specific name. This makes him even more mysterious. Was he a unique entity, created solely for this event? Or does he continue to operate, unseen, even today? Now, think about this. If an angel can be sent to take lives with such precision, how many other similar missions might have taken place throughout history? Is there a divine pattern of intervention that humans don't even perceive? How many times might the angel of death have crossed into our world without us knowing? The concept of this being transcends cultures and religions. Many ancient civilizations describe similar figures, entities responsible for taking lives, messengers of the beyond, sent to execute divine judgment. What's even more chilling is that all these descriptions, they all point to something in common, an inevitable presence that no one can escape. And there is a rarely explored detail: the angel of death may not act solely to destroy but also to protect. In some passages, angels are sent to rescue the righteous from impending destruction. What if this being is an instrument of balance, acting to ensure that divine justice is fulfilled on both sides? Another intriguing question is, does this angel act only under God's direct command, or does he have a continuous role, observing and waiting for the right moment to act again? If the Bible suggests that invisible forces are operating in our world, could we still be under the watchful eye of this mysterious entity? Now, if the angel of death already seems like a frightening entity, wait until you learn about those who directly challenged God and faced the consequences. Demons and their possessions are described as entities with intellect, will, and wickedness beyond human comprehension. What do they want? And why do they fear the name of Jesus so much? If there is something that has terrified humanity for centuries, it is the existence of demons, invisible, perverse creatures endowed with intelligence and cunning, roaming the world seeking to corrupt, deceive, and destroy. But what exactly are these entities? Fallen angels, independent evil forces, or direct manifestations of absolute evil? The Bible repeatedly mentions the presence of demons, and Jesus himself had direct confrontations with these creatures. They not only recognized his divine identity but also feared his name and power. This reveals something terrifying: they know who God is, yet they still chose to rebel. And what if I told you that many documented cases of demonic possession show striking similarities? Unknown languages being spoken, bodies acquiring superhuman strength, and knowledge of impossible things. What explains these phenomena? Are they merely psychological disorders, or is there something much deeper and darker happening? The Bible recounts exorcisms that defy human logic. Jesus freed people possessed by legions of demons with just his word. But what does that mean? If these entities trembled before him, does it mean that the spiritual battle is much greater than we imagine? Another disturbing point is that demons do not just exist, they seek hosts. In various accounts, they enter people, control their actions, and destroy their lives. Does this influence still occur today? How many minds and hearts have already been manipulated without anyone realizing it? And what if demons were not just disordered spirits but an organized army? The Bible speaks of hierarchies in the spiritual world, princes of darkness, principalities, spiritual forces of evil. Does this mean that a dark structure is operating in the invisible world? And what is the true goal of these entities? And there is an even more terrifying detail. According to the scriptures, some of these beings are no longer roaming freely, they are imprisoned, awaiting the final judgment. But if some have been imprisoned, what did they do to deserve such a fate? And if they are ever released, what will happen to the world? The fact is that the demonic presence in human history cannot be ignored. And what if what is written in the Bible is a direct warning? If the signs of possession and demonic influence are still present around us, just more subtle. But if demons represent supreme evil, then who was the first to rebel? The story of Lucifer and his fall from heaven is one of the most impactful narratives of all time. He was a glorious being, until his pride condemned him. What happened behind the scenes of this rebellion? And how does it affect us to this day? Among all the dark stories in the Bible, none is as impactful as that of Lucifer, the angel who dared to challenge God. Before being known as Satan, he was one of the most beautiful and powerful creatures in the celestial realm. But his ambition led to his downfall, triggering a rebellion that changed the fate of the universe forever. Lucifer was not just any angel, he was the anointed cherub, surrounded by splendor and glory, covered in precious stones, and with a brilliance that overshadowed all around him. But then, the impossible happened, he desired something that did not belong to him. He wanted God's very throne. The book of Isaiah describes his fall with terrifying words, "I will ascend above the highest clouds and be like the Most High," but instead, he was cast into the abyss. A brutal fall, a fate sealed by his own arrogance. But the big question is, how could a being so close to God become corrupted? The rebellion was not an isolated act. Lucifer convinced a third of the angels to follow him. But how did he achieve this? What was the speech that made them betray the creator of the universe? If even celestial beings were deceived, does that mean humans also face this risk daily? Here's a detail that few notice: Lucifer did not lose his power after the fall. He still acts, still deceives, and still seduces. The same pride that destroyed him is what he uses to corrupt humanity. He doesn't need to appear with horns and a trident, he just needs to plant the seed of doubt, unrestrained desire, and arrogance in people's hearts. And what if I told you that his influence is present in all aspects of society? In temptations, in moral deviations, in the illusion of power and glory without consequences? He still operates behind the scenes, pulling the invisible strings of human destiny, waiting for the right moment to deceive once again. But are we ready to recognize him and resist? Revelation gives us a glimpse of his end. There will be a final confrontation, where he will be defeated definitively. But before that, he will try to drag as many souls with him as possible. What can we do to avoid falling into the same trap that destroyed a third of the angels? Now, the big question: if Lucifer was once glorious and fell, what does that teach us about the true nature of pride? If even the most magnificent of angels could be consumed by arrogance, what can be said about human beings, so fragile and prone to error? And so, we reach the end of this journey through the most terrifying beings in the Bible. But which of these creatures impressed you the most? Do you believe they still influence the world today? Leave your comment and share this knowledge, because understanding the supernatural may be the key to resisting the invisible. Now that you know about these terrifying biblical entities, the unanswered question remains: how many other secrets are hidden in the scriptures? How many of these forces are still active, influencing the world without us noticing? And what if the truth is much greater, and more terrifying, than we imagine? And you? Do you believe these creatures could still be among us? Which of these entities left the strongest impression on you? Impressed? Leave your comment and share your theories. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to keep exploring the darkest and most hidden mysteries of the Bible. The next secret might be even more disturbing, and you won't want to miss it.